When a young woman goes missing, police have their sights on a restaurant manager she works with. But when he feels the heat, the 27-year-old man tries to put distance between himself and his 19-year-old co-worker. The longer this textbook interrogation goes on, the deeper the hole is being dug.
Just like Mom, Cody, and Dad loved you. Nobody loved you anymore or any less.
I'm telling you right now, I do not think you're a murderer.
I helped her get her witness and murder.
I don't think that you're a bad person, and something got out of control, and we need to know where she's at.
All I want from you is a reason.
It's 3 days since Savannah Gold's gone missing. Despite being involved in handing out missing persons pamphlets and helping look for her, restaurant manager, employer, and sometimes partner, Lee Rodarte Jr. is brought in for questioning. Officers know time is of the essence if they hope to locate Savannah.
So, Savannah, you said that you knew her and you guys had, you knew her from work. I mean, just kind of fill me in with that. How long have you known her?
Like I said, I've known her obviously since she started working there. I would say probably about 8 months ago or so, we started hanging out outside of work. And then she started using drugs a lot.
Okay.
Now, I used them with her, not the same drugs that she used all the time, but I did them with her a couple times, and then she started to get heavy into them. And
oh, gotcha. Okay.
so I kind of just tried to take a step back, and after that, me and my ex started kind of chit-chatting again.
Okay.
You know.
And who's that? What's her name?
Name's
Okay.
And then probably a month or so ago, I saw Savannah at work, and she looked healthy again. You know, she gained a little bit of weight. You know, friendly talk at work, you know, telling her, you know, hope everything's been good. And she told me, you know, that I guess she did a lot of drugs and ended up in the hospital. She ended up missing, like, I want to say a couple of days, 3 or 4 days from work.
Oh, okay.
So obviously, you know, we kind of were talking, you know, here and there. We hung out a couple times. She came over to the house, and, you know, we just kicked back, drank a couple beers, watched movies, stuff like that.
He's very well prepared for this interview. He probably knew, because of his position in the restaurant and position knowing her, he'd be interviewed in this case. He's rehearsed. It's kind of like a put her down a bit below him. You know, she had a drug problem, she was missing work, she's this, she's that, disappeared from work for a couple days. So he's trying to portray her as someone who possibly was not totally reliable, yet not to disparage her too badly. She had recovered, she was on her way back, and we were hanging out. We were on and off in this relationship, nothing too serious, but it would be, in my opinion, the standard way a person would describe a very casual relationship with a coworker.
And he's projecting an image of being very casual about it.
There are two things that are kind of missing from this. One is him talking about having any sort of power dynamic in the relationship as someone who is in a supervisory role, and the other being an absence of conflict. We talk about on-again, off-again relationships. They happen, and this person is very casual about that, but when someone's missing, I think pulling back on any information about potential conflict. He mentioned that he had a girlfriend. He was very cautious about what he mentioned, didn't provide a lot of detail, but we know there was some conflict there.
And then as we hung out, you know, after a couple of times, she brought drugs over. And I told her, I was like, you know, you're doing really good. You can't, you know, you shouldn't be doing it again. You're finally gaining weight. Because when we were together the first time, she was, you know, she got really petite and just didn't look well, which is kind of why I took a step back. And it was just kind of a hard thing to see, you know, every time that we hung out. Like I said, we did, we took like some pain pills here and there on occasion, but then she started like bringing heroin over and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things you said was that was the last time that you had contact with her.
Yes.
As far as, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I mean, you correct me.
That was the last time that I texted her.
Yeah, text or a phone call or a messenger or anything like that. It was 2 to 3 weeks ago. Yeah, okay. When was the last time you saw her?
Last time I saw her was Wednesday afternoon.
Okay.
I heard that she has been basically telling a lot of people at work that we hooked up a bunch, like a couple of days before that, and that she was going to like tell about the whole situation, try to get me fired. And
why would that get you fired?
I'm a manager and she's an employee. So
okay, so you guys aren't supposed to fraternize?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
And she just told people, I guess, that she was out with that work at the restaurant that we were having sex.
Okay.
And, hooking up and stuff like that, and that I was her boyfriend and this and that.
But just stop the tape for a second. Notice as he's talking, his demeanor has shifted. His leg is being very active, showing anxiety. He's just admitted to lying about the situation. His sort of sing-song manner of delivering information is a device that people use to disguise the emotionality that they're feeling. So I think what we're seeing is a real change from the casual informational guy to the person who really is now feeling a little bit threatened with what's going on.
He's framing himself as a good influence, but he has his line that he won't cross. Yeah, I'll take some pills, but I don't do the hard stuff. And now we're starting to see what lines he does cross and what happens when those things are brought to light. Yeah, I'll sleep with a coworker who's in a lower rank position, but I wouldn't tell anyone about it. And why? Because he was saving his own behind, essentially.
And he doesn't expect her to tell anyone about it. If you're the person sitting in the chair doing the investigation, it would kind of make you feel that you're moving in the right direction in the interview. You're getting him to suddenly change his whole approach as to what he's telling you. So you're sitting there going, okay, what am I going to bring up next? You have to change with him changing his story. You have to change your approach in the interview at the same time, or let him continue to make more mistakes. It depends, everything depends on the suspect really at this point in time. You're thinking about what you're going to do, and you're coming up with a plan now to follow up on his mistake.
With an admission of lying already on the table, officers are suspicious of what Lee Rodarte Jr. is hiding. They discover that missing Savannah Gold has shared the true nature of her and Lee's relationship with some coworkers, something Lee, her boss, has taken issue with.
So I was a little upset. So I met her in the parking lot at Bonefish.
When was this?
Wednesday afternoon, but it was nothing more than that. And she said, I'm gonna do what I want. You can believe what you want. I didn't tell anybody anything. And I told her, I said, the girl that you were out with told that we were still having sex and that you were just at my house like yesterday and hanging out.
What happened in the car is going to be crucial to the investigation. He's trying to set the details up that makes it look like we talked, it was settled, she's gonna say what she wants, and we're gonna go our separate ways. Obviously, it escalated to some extent from that.
Investigators know something happened in Lee's car that night. They just need to know the truth.
You knew she was working that night?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I drove up there and I was hoping to get a chance to talk to her.
Okay.
I pulled in the parking lot. She pulled in a little bit after me. And I said, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And she said, yeah, what's up? And I was like, I heard you've been saying some things about me and you continuing to hang out, and you know that we're boyfriend and girlfriend. She asked me, she said, can I come sit in the car? Because I just did some heroin and I'm a little paranoid. I said, why are you doing that? You know, you're doing really well. You shouldn't have been doing that.
They're going to let him keep talking. They're not going to push him until they find a couple more flaws. But when he starts to have those breaks, then they'll step in. They're gathering detail, gathering time. And again, it's a lie is good evidence when you know the truth.
The dynamic, I think, will come into play as well, and to what extent he maybe had control over things at work.
I think it's also interesting. She told him, I'm going to do what I want to do. So she's really kind of a loose cannon, which really goes toward motive. This is a person that he's attempted to keep their secret, and she's saying, I don't care about that, I don't care about you, I'm going to do what I want to do, which would place him in a very difficult situation because now there's a story out there that he has no control over.
Roll the tape.
At that point, she had her phone in her hand, she got out of the car and walked towards the main entrance from San Jose.
So like if
So this is
like I know Bonefish is like over here. This is San Jose. This is the bank. It's over here in this area. Where were you guys parked?
She was parked here.
Okay.
To the left of the 5-star ATM.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was parked here.
Okay. All right. So you're like here.
Yeah, I was probably 3 spaces away.
Okay, from her car?
Yeah.
Just a second, I have a question to ask you. It seems like just as this guy gets on a roll, they keep interrupting him for specific information, which really takes him out of the emotional range, gives him an opportunity to kind of recollect himself and go on with his story. So I'm wondering, your opinion, are they doing this to rattle him, or are they just observing poor interrogation technique?
They're not letting him continue on with his story. It's a tactic, and I think one of the reasons in this case is the cell phone mismessaging that was going on. The cell phone, he's very accurate about her taking her phone and heading towards this exit or this street. They'll be able to tell the movement of that phone, and I think the messaging on that phone is part of the evidence they want to get to, with him saying it was her on the phone, when in reality, they will try to prove it's him on the phone. So they're really focusing on this phone movement from the car.
I see.
They're basically going, everything you've said up to now is BS. So I think it's intentional. I think they let him talk earlier. Now they're stepping in and stopping the story that he has in his head.
What I could imagine happening is because he took her in the car, they might find that she would have traveled a great distance in a very fast amount of time and have evidence that her car didn't move, so how did she get there? He would have to account for that. So yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Roll the tape.
Could you see who the person in the truck was?
The truck had fairly tinted windows. I saw a baseball cap.
Yeah. So does it seem like she knew the person?
I mean, she got right in.
Had you ever seen the truck before?
No.
Never.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it since then?
No.
Well, did she say anything to you when she got out of the car, other than,
She was just like, fuck you,
Okay.
I'm gonna do what I want. And
She doesn't say anything other than that. So when I come up and talk to you yesterday, I'm not threatening, I'm talking to everybody up there. What? Why?
Well, I freaked out, to be honest with you. I mean...
This girl's missing?
Yes.
Okay. But you know she's been missing. I mean, you knew from in essence, from day one, that she's missing, and you freaked out that you had to know.
I mean, obviously, I was the last one to see her.
Toby, do you think that slip up was a subconscious kind of slip up? I was the last one to see her.
That's right, because he knew he was the last one to see her.
He knew, yeah, in truth.
And look at him scrambling around to try and backfill that.
Knowing, obviously this has already happened, so knowing what we know, seeing this is so interesting. being able to know right away. At this point, we don't know what police know, but we'd imagine that they have camera footage of her getting into his car, not leaving his car. So they're asking questions they already know the answers to, but to hear him slip up like that.
And then he makes up for it by inventing another character with a truck.
Oh, this is the first push on a lie.
Yes.
I talked to you yesterday. You never mentioned this truck. Suddenly today, you remember this truck. Why?
Called me and I said, I told him I didn't, know anything. And after I told her, what happened about me, puncturing the tire and her getting in the car with some guy, we talked a little bit just about, how it's kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? And I said, well, she hasn't hung out with the best of people in her past.
The puncturing of the tire is going to come into play. Did this happen pre her death or post her death? And if he did this after to cover up for his story, once again, you're getting into altering the facts. And these things are all going to come out at some point in this interview because he's volunteered them. He's put them out there to be questioned. Roll the tape.
When she's in the car, what does she say to you about what her plans are? So she's scheduled to work that night. So she's going to work?
She didn't talk about, I assumed she was going to work. She was in her uniform, but she didn't say, when she got out of the car, she didn't say anything after she got out of the car.
And she gets in that truck. Let's be honest, we won't even call her she, Savannah, okay?
That also was intentional. Let's put a name and a face to the person that you, in all likelihood, murdered. That is going to eat away at someone with a conscience. It's really difficult to continue down the path he's going without being faced with that. Not everyone's going to react, but on some level, it's going to impact somebody. But it's a really great switch up by the officer.
So where's Savannah right now?
I don't know.
Where would I find her?
I don't know.
That's my prime objective is to find her.
Definitely.
I think time's running out on her.
Lee Rodarte Jr.'s story is starting to unravel, and interrogators know it. Now, they have to turn up the heat to see if they can trap Lee in a verbal conundrum.
And I think that...
I should have said something to you guys when I talked.
Oh, yeah,
I should have said something Wednesday or Thursday when it was brought in.
So tell me how I go from nice guy, never met you. You seem like a nice guy. I come up and talk to you. Again, out of you agreed that there was nothing threatening or anything about our conversation. Just asking you for some basic, simple things. We talked for just a few minutes, and you didn't tell me this story. I'm not going to say the truth because I think there's holes in this story too. Okay. So you don't tell me this story, and then today we're talking again because I brought you down to talk to you because I found holes in that story that didn't match up, and now you're telling me another story that there's holes in this story that does not match up.
I love both stories have holes in them approach. I don't believe anything you've told me is what he's trying to get through, but he's being in a very nice professional way. And there was holes in what you told me last night. Today I go bring you here, there's holes in this story. You couldn't be more blunt about, I think you're a liar.
Well, yeah.
That's the subliminal messaging here. I absolutely think it's a fantastic way to approach something with a suspect, to be polite yet rude at the same time.
And then immediately, where is Savannah?
Yeah.
I think he's accelerating the pressure on him. Perhaps the questions will come more frequently. This fellow is pretty much rattled. He's not very good at being quick on his feet in terms of coming up with answers. And now he's totally on the defensive in terms of information, trying to do damage control.
Let's roll the tape.
So, I mean, I'm not trying to say anything.
No, I understand.
I'm just laying out facts here. I want to find this girl. I need to find her.
I understand.
And here's a couple reasons I need to find her. One is I'm hoping that she's still alive. And that's really, I really do, I'm holding out for that. And if she's not alive, then I think she and her family are due that knowledge. I think I think they need some closure. Whatever kind of a person she is, and I'm not about to say what kind of a person she is. If she's alive, then I want to find her. I need to make sure she's okay, because several days now she hasn't been around. But the other thing is, if she's not, this family deserves better than this. This family deserves better than somebody who works with her and who's got knowledge and won't tell the police because they're worried about their own ass. Because that's pretty cheap. I'm gonna be honest with you. And
I agree.
your feelings in it, I don't really care about your feelings. What I care about is finding her. So where is she?
I don't know where she is.
Where is Savannah?
I don't know.
I need to know where Savannah is so I can
don't
let
know
her family
where
know.
she is.
You don't know because you had something done with her and you weren't involved in that part? I don't know. Tell me something. What can I work with? We're not saying that you did anything. I'm trying to find her. I didn't say you did anything.
I don't know where she is.
Well, we can prove that you left with her in the car.
So far, the female officer has only played a bad cop role. Anytime she's asked a question, it's been a hard-hitting question. She's been digging into him using a bit of aggression, which I think's been fantastic because it hasn't been a true good cop, bad cop. A little bit at the start, and now you're getting pressure from both people, but you've only gotten that pressure so far from the female officer. This is the closest he's gotten probably to this point to be in a room with someone who he can see as a proxy for the victim's parent. But this use of emotion is really escalating things.
Well, it's a different kind of emotion. He has troubles with females in his life, with Chelsea, with Savannah, who have been angry with him. And here is this woman who is angry with him. So if anything is going to provoke him emotionally, an approach like this probably will.
This is the cat's out of the bag.
He's probably confused now, thinking, well, why didn't you say that if you already knew? But that's just the point. Police will only use the evidence that they have in an interrogation when it suits them, and this is the perfect time to drop that. Everything you've been saying is a lie, we can prove it, so now you gotta explain yourself and account for that.
Roll the tape.
This is someone's child. You might not have kids, but damn it, is she someone's kid? It's not fair to her mom with stage 4 cancer. All she wants to know is where her daughter is, but I have this man sitting over here, a 28-year-old man, that first says, you haven't seen her. You didn't see her that day. To now the roles have reversed a little bit, because we've been doing our background, okay? And now you're saying that she was sitting in your car, which all lines up with the video, actually. I'm glad that you said you got in the back seat with her. All that lines up. Walking over to her car, puncturing her tire, everything lines up. You come back to your car and going back to her car, everything lines up. But you know what doesn't line up? After that passenger door comes open and shuts, comes open and shuts, she never gets out of that car. And you drive off, she never gets out of that car. There is no green truck. And that's not right to her. We're fact finders, Lee. I don't have anything personal against you.
No, not at all. I mean, it's
we're
over.
just fact finders.
Tell us
We're
what
just
happened.
doing
Where
our
is she?
job. No. Where did you go with her? Where did you go with her, Lee? Be human. You're a human. You're a man. Where did you go with her? I know you're not that cruel inside.
Well, they want to give him a narrative. Maybe it was an accident. Things like this happen.
Overdose, all this stuff.
I don't
right?
believe you're a bad guy, but maybe
That's right.
she overdosed and you panicked.
That's right. So they've really emotionally defeated him. He's there emotionally helpless. She is scolding him the way a mom would scold a bad person. This is probably pushing some old buttons of problems he's had with females in the past.
Seriously, where did you go with her?
Maybe you
Please.
don't know where she is now. Where did you go with her?
Please, I'm begging you, Lee. Please. Please tell us. Please don't make us waste any more of our time. Just tell us. I'm begging you. I know you're not evil. Just tell us where she is. Can you please just tell me? What do you know?
He's thinking about it. He's thinking about it as she keeps changing her strategy from scolding to pleading,
Begging,
upping the
yeah.
emotional factor. He's searching around in his head for some kind of story. He doesn't have one. This would be the appropriate time to give him an option.
The muffled, I don't know, like it was such a low
Yes.
utterance from him.
That's right.
He's almost defeated.
Head down.
He paused a
looking
little bit too. You can tell that it's a different I don't know than it was before. It's still I don't know on the surface, but it's a little different. Let's roll the tape.
Is that how you wanted people to think? I know you're not an evil person. I don't see that in you. I don't see that in your history. I don't hear those things about you at work. Please tell us where you went with her. She never got out of your car. I'm begging you.
With a bombshell like this, Lee Rodarte Jr. is going to have a lot on his mind and a lot of explaining to do.
My little girl is that age.
Maybe
And you're not telling the truth.
Maybe something gets out of hand in the car.
I didn't do anything.
Okay, you didn't do
Okay.
anything, but she was in your car. She never got out of your car. She never got out of your car. Where did you go with her then? Can you
At least tell us that.
at least tell us that part? Where did you go with her afterwards? She didn't get out of your car, and you know that obviously because I
and
know
we do
that.
too. That's why we're here. Just tell us where. Where did you go with her? Please.
Lee, it's not
You're doing
right.
great. I mean, you already told us everything we already know.
Going back to what you were saying about how he's been treated by the women in his life, like, I don't know how often he's been told by a male figure in his life, you're doing a great job. They're now switching from putting the screws to him and then this emotional pleading to now this more subdued, almost praise. Like, you are not a bad person. You don't even need to tell us everything. We just need to know this little piece of information. Things have calmed down in such a brilliant way. I love to see how the officers still have complete control over that room. Obviously, they're not getting the exact outcome they want right at this moment, but it's gone in so many directions, but in ways that they planned all along.
They're using every tactic with the begging to, be a good guy, tell us where you went. We just want to find her body. Just give us a little hint here. Tell us what direction you went.
Well, I think he knows the thin edge of the wedge is a dangerous thing because most times he's not even saying anything. He's just shaking his head no. I think he's afraid that if he starts to talk,
it's going to flow.
Yes, and I'm waiting for them to encourage him to unburden himself because it must be a heavy load he's carrying. He'll feel better once he fesses up.
We saw it, and you know I'm not making it up because I wouldn't know this because I wasn't there. I would never know this unless we had video of it, correct? Yes, correct. I'm not trying to trick you. I'm just a fact finder.
We're not gonna lie to you.
That door kicked over 3 times. Obviously something went on in that back seat. What happened in the back seat? Did she get mad at you?
I mean, she was upset.
Lee, we understand. Listen, we understand.
We're not trying to hinge you up on anything, man. I'm telling you, I'm thinking about this girl and her family. And your family.
She was serving.
Please tell me where to go find her. That's how people will remember you. We
that.
can work with that, man. We can work with that.
What?
You gotta do the right thing now.
Such a key part of an interrogation is when you see his physical movements, his head, his eyes, he's struggling internally with what to say and what to do. He really wants to confess, but he knows what's going to happen if he does. They're being very coy. They're trying to use the right words and the right pressure tactic to get him to come forward. One wrong move, one way or the other, and it could tip it the wrong way. So they're both playing the same game. Who's going to tilt first? They're going to be very patient. They're going to use every tactic they know. He is about to crack.
Yeah.
We can work
We
with
can
that.
work with that, man. We can work with that.
What?
You gotta do the right thing now. You can do this. You can do the right thing.
He looks like he's about to burst into tears. They're really pushing him, and they've tried a variety of techniques. Let's appeal to your sense of conscience, family, closure, etc. So he is overwhelmed emotionally at this point, and I think that what we'll see is an emotional break, and then he'll start talking, especially if they make it easier for him by giving him an alternative narrative. Roll the tape.
She was hitting me. She wouldn't stop, and I squeezed back.
Okay.
And she was just,
Was she under your arm or something, or?
she started hitting me, after I, slashed her tire.
Right.
And we went back and forth, and I squeezed her hard.
You squeezed her around her neck or around her neck with your hands?
She
She had.
had her hands around mine.
Okay.
And you had yours around hers, and y'all were just fighting back with each other.
Okay.
She just wouldn't let go, and I didn't let go.
Okay.
Where is she now?
Please tell us first.
You got the hardest part out. I understand
yeah.
that. And you got the hardest part
Freaked out.
Okay.
I left. All I wanted to do was leave me alone.
We know.
I know.
Prime suspect Lee Rodarte Jr. has been systematically broken down by police interrogators. All that's left is for him to come clean and tell them what he did to Savannah.
You're great. Thank you. Thank you. Let's get this over with, and let's find her. Let's let her pants
When
down.
did you put her there?
Did you go straight there?
They played him like a fiddle, and he finally broke. Very, very textbook interrogation, and the emotion, everything that come out of him, the tears, they're real. He's not faking that. This is a person who had a complete emotional breakdown to confess. And it took some time, but it was a great thing to watch this interview and how they played every little angle of human emotion, and the patience by those detectives to let him break. They didn't try to force the issue too much. They let him break himself.
And it was too much. It just battered him down. He looks exhausted because he's been through an emotional ordeal here, and probably does feel a sense of relief. Now he can be a good guy and show them exactly where she is.
Well, and unlike in his life where he's likely, lying to people and then he can leave the situation. Think about how he's going to handle the consequences should they arise. He's in this room with this feeling of, I can't leave right now. I'm kind of stuck, even though he technically could leave at any time. He's not under arrest. This is the first time in his life, I would imagine, he's been really confronted.
Right now they have him talking. They're going to have to probably help him a lot with the evidence. They're going to have to ask him subtle questions over and over and over. He's surrendering information, but it's piece by piece by piece. So until he starts verbally unleashing what he's done, they're going to have to bring this out 2 words at a time. What did you do next? What did you do next?
Roll the tape.
Okay.
And she just...
And you had both hands like this around this part of her neck? Could you feel a pop?
Yeah.
Okay, where did you feel
I
it?
just heard it, and then it felt like somewhere in here.
Okay. And when after you heard the pop, what happened at that point? Do you remember? She just stopped moving. Okay.
Where's her phone at?
I threw it out the window.
Tell me where you threw it.
I'm 295.
Like what about? What area?
In between Phillips and K Parkway, maybe.
Was that the Wednesday night after this happened? Okay, that's when you threw her phone out? Okay.
She had her phone with her when she got out of the car.
Okay. Yeah. Now, what did you get out of her car? When you went back over to her car, I know because you went twice. You know, you punch her, come back, you talk to her, this all happens within a short period of time, but then you go back over to her car and go in. What do you get out of her car?
It was her makeup bag.
Got her makeup bag out? Okay. Did you get anything else out? Okay. And why did you get her makeup bag?
Well, I was freaking out.
Sure. Okay. Do you remember what color it was?
It was like red.
Okay. And where is that? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Today's the 5th. Yeah, August the 5th. And then you can just sign it your name.
They're obviously they've seen him on the video go back to the car. They're asking him, what did you do? He took her makeup bag. Obviously he was trying to change the evidence chain, plan evidence in some way, shape, or form, or to do something with her belongings to create the scenario that he was dreaming up in his head. And to do that, you need props. You need to create a chain of false evidence to lead away from you as the suspect. So this is what they're trying to get at. What did you do with her effects? It's going to be very important in the case going forward to prove what he was doing to try to cover up the fact that he killed her.
Who'd you send the text to?
Her dad.
Okay. Anybody else?
And her brother.
Her dad and her brother you sent it to? Do you remember kind of what it said?
Just said that, was running off with a boyfriend.
Okay. All right. Did you send that to anybody else? Okay, just the dad and the boyfriend. Okay.
Did you ever get on her Facebook Messenger? No.
You didn't have her password for that or anything like that? Okay.
Did you ever try to check her voicemails? No.
Okay.
So, do you think you broke her neck?
I guess.
Because you said when you were squeezing her, that's when you heard the pop. And then after that, she didn't move anymore? Okay.
He's creating a false evidence trail after his act. That's what he's doing. That shows that to me, that the killing was on purpose. He did that knowing full well he had to do something to cover his tracks after the fact. And not see very often where someone will take a phone and create false messaging on it. It just doesn't happen that often. But in this case, he was thinking clearly enough to do that.
Mm-hmm. This is someone that has a kernel of a conscience in some way. He's showing real emotion for something that was traumatic, however you slice it. But this is someone who also had the forethought to go back to the scene, to tamper with evidence, to create fake messages that are going to cover for him. So while he's saying, well, I grabbed it, I don't know why, I was panicking, would a panicked person think to grab her phone and send messages to both the father and the brother? Likely not. So this is why they're looking into that information.
And he's used this excuse before. I was freaking out, I panicked, I didn't know what I was doing, I was high. Anything to avoid taking responsibility for his behavior. And then the cover-up.
Roll the tape.
Push her out of the car.
Okay.
And then she just keeps hitting me.
Okay.
And I swing. her towards the back of the back seat.
Okay, so if you're, we're both sitting you're here, this is the back seat, right? So you're sitting here, and she's on this side, and you're doing that, and you're trying to push her out. And
I open the door.
You open the door, okay? And then if you, I'll just do it like that. And then if you're here, this is you, and this is her, you're grabbing, well here, just show me. Will you show me kind of what, best you can? Don't, I mean, are you okay? Do this for a second. I just want to kind of get a feel of where her head was. If you're not, you don't have to.
The interesting question is, for whom is he crying? For the victim or for himself? As he realizes what's going on with him, that his efforts to avoid this moment have failed and his life is over.
This is someone who's become a compulsive liar, and we've seen time and time again that happening even just in this interrogation. We also know this is a person who went so far as to help her family when they went out looking. So this is someone who's actively been trying to cover up his tracks, not just through grabbing the makeup bag and through the text messages, but in trying to remove any potential suspicion by cooperating and helping with the family so that he's not a suspect.
I'd like to say that I think those investigators did a A+ job on that interrogation. They're moving the pressure, the subtleties. They went up and down the spectrum of a trained team of investigators to reach the desired result with a suspect. And even the backup investigation, where they were able to prove the evidence tampering and whatnot, not easy to do, but they did a great job here. They broke someone down who was a habitual liar and had actually done quite a bit to avoid being detected, except, again, technology, forensics, and good technique put someone away for a long time.